Deep in the Appalachian wilderness, where morning mist clings to ancient pine and silence speaks louder than words, 17-year-old Jacob Morrison finds something that will change his simple mountain life forever. She lies unconscious beside Miller's Creek, her fine clothes torn and muddy, her face pale as winter snow. No memory of how she got to this remote valley, no idea who she is or where she belongs. When she wakes up, trembling and afraid, Jacob extends a rough hand, weathered by years of hard mountain living. "Come with me," he says simply, offering the only thing he has: shelter in his family's humble cabin and protection in a world that taught him survival above all else. What Jacob doesn't know is that this mysterious woman carries secrets that powerful men would kill to protect. But what happens when the woman he's grown to love finally remembers the terrifying truth about who she really is? Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. As the days turn into weeks, Anna settles into the rhythm of mountain life with surprising ease. Each morning she rises before dawn to help Mary prepare breakfast, her movements becoming more confident in the small kitchen. The silver locket Jacob found in her torn dress pocket rests on the windowsill, catching the early light. The initials, E.H., engraved on its surface puzzle everyone, especially since Anna shows no recognition when they mention it. Perhaps it belonged to someone else. Anna suggests when Ruth asks about it again. "Maybe I was carrying it for a friend." But Jacob notices how her fingers constantly reach for her own throat when she's deep in thought, as if expecting to find a chain there. The locket clearly belongs to her, yet she seems genuinely unaware of its true meaning. Anna's recovery brings unexpected gifts to the household. When Ruth's cough worsens, Anna immediately starts preparing a remedy, combining mountain herbs with techniques none of them have ever seen. She steams elderflower with precise timing, adds wild cherry bark in exact proportions, and creates a syrup that brings Ruth more relief than any store-bought medicine. "Where did you learn that?" Mary asks, watching Anna work with practiced efficiency. Anna pauses, her hands still busy. "I'm not sure. It just felt right, like remembering a song you heard long ago." Her knowledge extends beyond simple remedies. When Jacob badly cuts his hand on a saw blade, Anna instantly takes charge. She cleans the wound with a thoroughness that speaks of formal training, examining it for debris with the skill of someone educated in proper medical procedures. "This needs stitching," she declares, then proceeds to close the wound with neat, even sutures that would impress any doctor. Her hands remain perfectly steady throughout the procedure, her focus absolute. "You've done this before," Jacob observes, watching her work. "I suppose I must have," she replies, "but I can't remember learning it. It's like my hands know things my mind has forgotten." These glimpses of her past create an intriguing puzzle. Anna clearly comes from a world where medical training for women suggests either great wealth or progressive thinking, yet she adapts to their simple life without complaint, finding real joy in tasks that most wealthy women would consider beneath them. Her presence transforms their evening routines. After dinner, Anna often picks up the old guitar that belonged to Jacob's father, tuning it with expert fingers. She plays melodies they've never heard, complex pieces that speak of classical training, but also quickly learns the simple mountain songs Mary teaches her. Music is universal, she says one evening, accompanying Mary's sweet voice. It connects us to something deeper than memory. Jacob finds himself drawn to these musical evenings, not just for the beauty of the songs, but for the way Anna's face changes when she plays. The uncertainty that clouds her features during the day disappears, replaced by a confidence that suggests music has been central to her identity. Their conversations grow deeper as Anna's strength returns. She possesses a sharp intellect that challenges Jacob's thinking about the world beyond their mountain. She asks thoughtful questions about his woodworking, suggesting improvements that come from an understanding of design principles he's never formally studied. "You could sell these pieces in the city," she tells him, examining a cabinet he's crafted. "The quality rivals anything I've seen in the finest shops." "How would you know about fine shops?" Jacob asks, genuinely curious. Anna's expression grows troubled. "I remember impressions rather than details. Rooms filled with beautiful things, people in elegant clothes, the feeling of being surrounded by luxury. But when I try to focus on specifics, everything becomes foggy." Her nightmares return sporadically, leaving her shaken and confused. She wakes, crying out words they can't understand, speaking what sounds like formal language about contracts and obligations. During these episodes, her refined accent becomes more pronounced, as if fear strips away the gentle mountain inflection she's begun to adopt. "Someone's coming," she murmurs one morning after a particularly disturbing dream. "I can feel them getting closer." Jacob takes her seriously, having learned to trust mountain intuition about danger. He begins paying closer attention to the forest around their home, noting bird behavior and animal tracks that might indicate strangers in the area. Despite these moments of fear, Anna blooms in the mountain environment. Her pale city complexion gains healthy color from outdoor work. Her soft hands develop the first calluses of physical labor, marks she wears with pride. Most remarkably, her smile comes more easily each day, transforming her from a frightened refugee into a young woman discovering her own strength. Jacob watches this transformation with growing admiration and something deeper, feelings he's never experienced before. Anna represents everything foreign to his world, yet she fits into their life as if she belongs there. When she laughs at Mary's stories or listens intently to Ruth's wisdom, Jacob sees not a displaced city woman, but someone finding her true home. The silver locket continues to catch the light each morning, a daily reminder that Anna's past waits to reclaim her. But for now, in the peaceful rhythm of mountain days, it's easy to imagine that this simple life might be enough for all of them. The leather journal appears almost by accident. Jacob finds it among his father's old possessions while searching for extra blankets. The bound book contains mostly blank pages, but its quality, the smooth leather, the cream paper, makes him think Anna might appreciate it. "For your thoughts," he says simply, offering it to her that evening by the fire. Anna accepts the journal with reverence, running her fingers over the binding as if greeting an old friend. "Thank you. I've been feeling the need to write, though I'm not sure why." Quote. That night, Jacob glimpses her through the open door of her room, bent over the journal by candlelight. Her hand moves with fluid confidence, forming letters with the elegant script of someone who received excellent education. The sight confirms what he suspected. Anna comes from a world where penmanship is taught as an art form. Over the following days, writing becomes Anna's evening ritual. She fills page after page with observations about mountain life and fragments of memory that surface like bubbles in still water. "May I ask what you're writing?" Ruth inquires one evening. Anna closes the journal carefully, her fingers lingering on the cover. "Everything I can remember and everything I want to remember. This place, your kindness, but also the pieces of my past that keep floating back." "Does writing help you remember more?" Mary asks sometimes. "When I write about this life, everything feels clear and real. But when I try to capture the memories from before, they slip away like smoke. I remember fragments, a grand staircase, the sound of silk rustling, a man's angry voice, but they won't connect into a complete picture." Quote, Jacob has been teaching Anna practical mountain skills, and their daily lessons create opportunities for deeper conversation. As they walk the forest paths, checking snares and gathering nuts, Anna shares insights that reveal her sharp intelligence. "You see patterns in everything," she observes, watching Jacob read disturbed leaves and broken twigs. "The way you understand this forest reminds me of something, but I can't quite grasp what mountain folk learn to notice details." Jacob explains, "Survival depends on seeing what doesn't belong, what's changed, what's coming. Yes, but you do more than notice. You interpret. You create stories from evidence." Anna pauses beside a large oak. "I think I used to do something similar, but with different kinds of evidence." These hints suggest former involvement in business or legal matters. When Jacob mentions lumber buyers who cheat mountain sellers, Anna immediately grasps the complexities of market manipulation. They're using information advantage. She explains, "They know city prices but pretend ignorance about quality grades." You could counter that by... She stops abruptly, surprised by her own expertise. By what Jacob prompts, "I'm not sure. I almost remembered something about business practices, but it's gone now." Their relationship deepens through these shared discoveries. Anna's intelligence challenges Jacob, while his practical wisdom grounds her floating memories. They develop an easy partnership, working together with the unconscious coordination of people who understand each other's rhythms. One evening, as Anna writes, She suddenly looks up with excitement. I remembered something important. Music lessons. I had a teacher who was very strict about posture and finger position. She used to say that a lady's accomplishments reflect her family's status. That sounds like wealthy family expectations. Ruth observes gently. Yes, but there's more. I remember feeling trapped by those lessons, by all the expectations, like I was being shaped into someone I didn't want to become. Anna's expression grows troubled. I think I was running from something when I ended up here. Not just physically running, but escaping from a life that felt like a beautiful prison. Jacob feels a chill at her words, sensing that Anna's past holds dangers they don't yet understand. But protective determination rises in his chest. Whatever Anna was running from, she's found safety here. He'll make sure she can choose her own future. The journal becomes Anna's anchor, helping her process memory fragments while documenting her growing love for mountain life. Through its pages, she's creating a new identity, the educated woman she was, and the mountain woman she's becoming. The wanted poster appears on a Tuesday morning when Tommy Briggs rides up from town with supplies and troubling news. Tommy works at Henderson's general store and keeps his ear to the ground. "Jacob, you need to see this," Tommy says, dismounting with urgency. He pulls a folded paper from his saddlebag. The poster shows a crude but recognizable sketch of Anna's face above bold text, offering a substantial reward for information about a missing woman. 3 men came through yesterday asking questions. Tommy explains, his voice low. City men in expensive suits, not the kind we usually see here. They're making folks nervous. Jacob studies the poster, his heart sinking. The woman they seek matches Anna perfectly. The reward is enough money to tempt even honest mountain folk. What kinds of questions Jacob asks? They want to know if anyone's seen a woman traveling alone, if any families have taken in strangers. They're polite, but there's something threatening underneath. Old man Patterson told them he hadn't seen anybody, and one of them got real close to him and said they hoped his memory might improve. Anna appears in the doorway, drawn by the serious tone. She takes one look at the poster and goes pale. "That's me," she whispers. "Could be anybody," Tommy says quickly, but his eyes dart between Anna and the poster with growing recognition. "No," Anna says firmly, "it's me. I can feel it. They're coming for me." The peaceful bubble of their mountain existence suddenly feels fragile. Jacob watches her face cycle through fear, confusion, and anger. The reward is significant. Tommy points out practically enough to keep a family fed through winter and beyond. People will be tempted. Not mountain people, Jacob says with conviction. We don't sell out folks who've done us no harm. You have too much faith in desperate men, Anna says quietly. Money like this changes how people think about right and wrong. Quote, that afternoon, Jacob takes Anna deep into the forest to show her places where they could hide, caves and hidden valleys that strangers would never find. We won't let them take you, Jacob promises as they explore a cave concealed behind a waterfall. Whatever you're running from, we'll face it together. Anna turns to him with tears in her eyes. You don't understand what you're offering. These men, this reward, it suggests I'm worth something to powerful people. That usually means danger for anyone who stands in their way. Then we'll be careful. But we won't abandon you. Jacob interrupts. This is our mountain. We know every path. City men in expensive suits won't last 2 days out here without local help. But even as he speaks, Jacob feels the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Their peaceful life is about to become far more dangerous. That evening they burn the wanted poster, but its image remains seared in their memories. Anna writes frantically in her journal, I remember luxury. She tells them, servants, carriages, rooms full of beautiful things, but I also remember feeling like a prisoner in all that wealth. I think I ran away from my own life. And now that life is coming to reclaim me, quote, the poster proves that Anna's past won't remain buried forever. The question now is whether love and mountain wisdom can protect her. The gold pocket watch lies half buried in the soft earth near Miller's Creek. Jacob finds it during his morning check. The timepiece is expensive, gold with intricate engravings. Harrington Industries. Excellence through tradition. Jacob turns the watch over. This is not something a mountain man would own, Anna. He calls softly as he returns to the cabin. I've found something you need to see. Anna takes one look at the watch and staggers backward. her face draining of color. Her hands shake as she reaches for it, then pulls back Harrington. She whispers, "That name? It means something terrible." "Do you remember what?" "Not clearly, but when I see it, I feel afraid, trapped like walls closing in. Jacob, I think this belongs to one of the men hunting me." The implications hit Jacob like a physical blow. The searchers have been here, at the exact spot where he found Anna. "We need to leave," Anna says immediately. "Today, right now. Running without a plan will get us caught." Jacob interrupts. "But you're right about leaving. We can't stay here." Quote, "They spend the morning preparing for departure with quiet efficiency. Ruth packs medicines and dried food. Mary gathers clothes. Where will you go? Ruth asks Deep Mountain. Jacob replies places where strangers can't follow without guides they'll never find. The goodbye with Ruth and Mary tears at Jacob's heart, but he knows Anna's presence puts his family in danger. Take care of each other, Ruth says, embracing them, and remember, love finds a way through any wilderness. Jacob leads Anna into the mountains. As they climb higher, Anna's memories return with disturbing clarity. I remember the man who owned that watch. She says Bradford Stone. He works for my father. Tall. Always well-dressed, with eyes that make you feel like property. He's evaluating your father. A large house, servants, business meetings. An engagement announcement. I was supposed to marry Bradford Stone. A business arrangement disguised as romance. Anger rises in Jacob's chest. Is that what you were running from? A forced marriage. I think so. The wedding was supposed to happen soon. I remember white fabric, flowers, feeling like I couldn't breathe. I ran away from my own wedding. Quote, they reach a hidden cave just as darkness falls, a shelter with a clear view of the approaches but invisible from below. As they settle in, Anna clings to Jacob. They'll never stop looking, she whispers. Men like Bradford Stone don't accept defeat, especially when it comes to things they consider their property. You're not property, Jacob says firmly. You're a person with the right to choose your own life. Not in their world. In their world, women like me exist to cement business deals. The gold watch sits between them, proof that Anna's past has found their sanctuary. Tomorrow, they'll go deeper. But tonight, Jacob holds her close and promises silently that he'll help her stay free. The pressed wildflower rests between the pages of Anna's journal, a tiny purple bloom Jacob picked for her. It marks the moment when survival became something deeper. Shared hardship transforming into shared love. Jacob's knowledge of the wilderness proves invaluable. He finds water sources, edible plants, and shelters that protect them from both weather and pursuit. How do you know all this? Anna asks. My grandfather taught me. Survival isn't just about staying alive, it's about staying free. Quote, Anna watches his competence with growing admiration. Where she brings educated intelligence, Jacob brings practical wisdom that keeps them alive. I never imagined I could live like this, Anna confesses. A month ago, I probably couldn't have walked a mile without stopping to rest. You're stronger than you knew, Jacob observes. Or maybe I'm becoming someone different. Someone better suited to this life than the one I left behind. They talk late into the night, sharing dreams. Anna describes her childhood. Private tutors, elaborate parties, expectations that felt like chains. Jacob tells her about his hopes for expanding his woodworking. What if someone brought the city people to the mountains? Instead, Anna suggests, what if there was a way to share your knowledge without losing what makes it special? Their different backgrounds complement each other. Anna's perspective expands Jacob's thinking, while his grounded wisdom helps her. The pressed flower is a tangible symbol of this growing partnership. On their fourth night in the wilderness, they share their first kiss beside a hidden waterfall where the rushing water masks their voices. The moment feels both inevitable and surprising. I love you, Anna whispers against Jacob's lips. I love you too, he responds, holding her close. Whatever we have to face, I want to face it together. The flower witnesses this declaration. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. But tonight, they have each other. The torn letter fragment flutters from Anna's jacket pocket. Jacob retrieves the scrap of expensive paper, noting the formal letterhead. Something about legal offices. Where did this come from? Anna takes the paper, her face growing pale as she reads the visible words. Marriage contract, consequences of breach, family obligations, financial ruin. I remember, she whispers, sinking onto a fallen log. This was in my room the morning I ran away. A final warning, the memory crashes over her. My name isn't Anna, she says quietly. It's Elizabeth. Elizabeth Harrington. My father owns Harrington Industries, steel mills, railroads. Jacob feels the ground shifting. Elizabeth isn't just a runaway. She's the heir to an industrial fortune. The marriage was arranged to merge our company with Bradford Stone's shipping empire. Elizabeth continues. I would have become his property in every sense that matters. What kind of consequences, Jacob asks. Financial ruin for my family's business. Criminal charges against my father. Bradford had positioned himself to destroy everything if I didn't cooperate. Elizabeth's voice turns bitter. He made sure I understood that hundreds of workers would lose their jobs if I chose my happiness over their livelihoods. The manipulation takes Jacob's breath away. So you ran anyway. I tried to be brave during the ceremony, but when Bradford took my hand, when I saw the satisfaction in his eyes at finally owning me, I couldn't do it. She ran in her wedding gown. I must have gotten lost, disoriented. The next thing I remember clearly is waking up in your cabin. You ran 20 miles through a storm in a wedding dress. Jacob marvels. Fear gives you strength you didn't know you had. And maybe some part of me knew I was running towards something better. The letter fragment proves the systematic manipulation that drove her to desperation. Bradford's pursuit isn't just about recovering a runaway bride. It's about protecting a business arrangement worth millions. My grandmother's quilt rests across Elizabeth's shoulders as they shelter with Jacob's distant relatives, the McLeod family. Old Duncan McLeod and Moira welcome Elizabeth without question, following the ancient mountain code. Elizabeth adapts quickly to their primitive living conditions. She helps Moira smoke meat and preserve vegetables. You've got good hands for this work. Moira comments. I'm learning that I'm not most city folk. Elizabeth replies, her confidence growing. The community slowly accepts her. She's not putting on airs. Reports Agnes Fletcher knows her letters better than the preacher, but doesn't make others feel ignorant. Jacob watches Elizabeth's integration with growing amazement. The woman who fled luxury finds joy in simple tasks. I feel like I'm becoming myself for the first time, Elizabeth tells him. Everything about my old life was performance. Here I can just be useful. You were always more than decorative, Jacob assures her. The mountain just lets you show it. The quilt becomes Elizabeth's constant companion, a tangible symbol of her acceptance. This quilt has seen 3 generations of mountain women. Moira tells her, now it's yours to carry forward. The wealthy Elizabeth Harrington ran away. The woman emerging in these mountains is someone entirely new. She realizes the community offers something her father's fortune never could. The freedom to be valued for who she chooses to become. The telegram crackles between Tommy's nervous fingers. He intercepted the wire at Henderson's store. Elizabeth Harrington confirmed in mountain region. Stop substantial reward. Stop father dying business empire at stake. Stop Bradford Stone authorized all necessary measures. Stop. Jacob reads the wire. Bradford is moving faster. If Elizabeth's father is truly dying, Bradford needs to legitimize his claim before rivals move in. It means he'll take greater risks to recover me. Elizabeth assesses. There's more. Tommy says reluctantly, I heard talk in town about men asking questions about you specifically, Jacob. They know someone's been helping her. Elizabeth realizes her presence is now endangering Jacob and the entire mountain community. I have to go back. She says quietly, I can't let innocent people suffer for my choices. No. Jacob responds immediately. We'll find another way. Bradford has unlimited resources. Elizabeth counters. He won't stop until he gets what he wants. What would your mother do? Jacob asks quietly. Elizabeth considers this, remembering her mother's fierce independence. She would find a way to protect the workers without sacrificing herself. So what's the solution here? I don't know yet, but running away wasn't the answer. I need to return, prepared to fight for control of my own inheritance. Then we go back together, Jacob responds without hesitation. This isn't mountain justice. This is legal warfare. Elizabeth warns mountain justice is about protecting what's right regardless of the consequences. Jacob corrects. If you are fighting for workers, families, and your own freedom, then it's a fight worth joining. The hand-drawn map spreads across the cabin table. Jacob's battle plan. Bradford's men know how to fight in cities, but they don't know how to fight here, where the land itself becomes a weapon. Old Duncan MacLeod studies the map. Reminds me of the feuds when the railroad companies tried to force folks off their land. City men with big ideas about mountain ways until winter taught them different. Elizabeth watches the mountain folk organize. Why are you all doing this? You barely know me, and helping me could bring serious trouble. Quote, Moira MacLeod answers, Child, we've seen how you treat our elders with respect, how you work without complaint. That makes you family, and family protects each other. The goal, Jacob emphasizes, is not to hurt anyone, but to make them understand that taking Elizabeth by force will cost more than they are willing to pay. The hidden documents spill from Bradford's leather briefcase. Elizabeth discovers them by accident when he leaves the case unguarded. The papers reveal a conspiracy far beyond a forced marriage. The first document, a medical examiner's report on her mother's death 12 years ago, listing acute digitalis poisoning. Notes in Bradford's script confirm, He killed my mother. Elizabeth breathes the words, barely audible. Bradford poisoned her because she was interfering with his business plans. More documents show systematic theft and undermining of Harrington Industries, and correspondence with corrupt officials. Bradford keeps evidence of his crimes as insurance. Bradford's corruption reaches into law enforcement and the courts. Elizabeth realizes, we need to find someone he hasn't bought. Mountain law doesn't require outside authorities. Duncan observes grimly. No, Elizabeth says firmly, if we handle this outside legal channels, we become criminals ourselves. Bradford wins by making us like him. She studies a document listing Bradford's assets. There's another way. Bradford's power depends on secrecy and fear. If we expose these documents publicly, his whole conspiracy collapses. I'm talking about fighting instead of just running. Elizabeth states, looking directly at Jacob, I need help from someone I trust completely. The mountain hunting rifle rests against the cabin wall. Bradford Stone himself arrives at dawn with 6 men. Elizabeth. Bradford calls out, enough of this foolishness. Your responsibilities await. Elizabeth steps onto the porch, Jacob beside her with the rifle held ready. She is dressed in simple mountain clothes, but her bearing retains her poise. Hello, Bradford. I'm surprised you came personally. You look like a common mountain girl. Is this what you've reduced yourself to? I've learned what real wealth looks like, Elizabeth replies. It's not measured in dollars. Jacob lifts the rifle smoothly as one of Bradford's men makes a move. Mountain folk don't draw on unarmed men, but we defend our own when threatened. Quote, this peasant knows the difference between legitimate authority and bullying. Jacob says you can't hide in these mountains forever. Bradford tries, his voice persuasive. This isn't fantasy, Elizabeth responds firmly. This is the first real life I've ever lived. I won't trade that for a golden cage. The blood-stained locket catches the last rays of sunlight as Bradford draws his knife. None of these people had to die for your selfishness. They're fighting for something you'll never understand, the right to protect people they care about. Elizabeth replies. Jacob fights his way through Bradford's men. Bradford's knife lunges toward Elizabeth's heart with lethal force, but strikes the silver locket instead. The locket deflects the knife's point, saving her life. The locket! It was my mother's. She gave it to me for protection, and I never understood what she meant. Until now, Jacob tackles Bradford. The mountain community fights with fierce coordination. Bradford's men surrender or flee. You think your mountain justice means anything? Bradford gasps. Corrupt men only stay loyal when it profits them, Jacob replies. The legal documents rest on the sheriff's desk. Murder, embezzlement, conspiracy, bribery. Sheriff Morrison reads, if even half of these accusations prove true, Bradford Stone will spend the rest of his life in prison. Elizabeth organizes the evidence. Bradford's arrest spreads quickly, triggering confessions. Charles Harrington, her father, recovers rapidly once the poisoning stops. I should have listened to your concerns. Charles tells Elizabeth the first want to make things right. Charles continues, but I'll need your help. Your time away has given you perspective. I lack. Elizabeth examines the documents that transfer majority ownership of Harrington Industries to a worker cooperative. The workers should own their labor. Elizabeth explains they deserve partnership in the enterprise they make possible. This is revolutionary thinking, Charles observes. Then they'll learn that treating workers fairly isn't dangerous. It's profitable, Elizabeth replies. The simple gold ring gleams in Jacob's palm as he stands before the gathered community. He hammered the band himself. This ring doesn't come with papers or legal contracts. Jacob tells Elizabeth, "It just comes with a promise to love you for who you are." Quote, "I promise to choose this life every day," Elizabeth responds. Duncan MacLeod performs the ceremony. Love isn't about owning someone. It's about choosing to walk the same path, to face whatever comes together. Elizabeth wears a simple dress sewn from fabric donated by every family. Charles Harrington travels from the city to attend. "I was worried about losing my daughter to the mountains," Charles admits during his toast. "Instead, I discovered that the mountains gave me back the daughter I thought I'd lost. A year ago, I thought happiness meant having everything I wanted." Elizabeth tells Jacob as they dance. "Now I know it means wanting everything I have." "No regrets?" Jacob asks, holding her close as they watch their guests disappear. "Only one," Elizabeth replies, touching the gold ring. "I regret that it took me so